About 6 months ago, I bought a Raleigh Tokul 1. And back when I did the initial video on this bike, I asked a question: was this better than the Trek Marlin 5? At that point in time, my opinion was yes. In 6 months of trail riding, you learn a lot about a bike. And in the case of the Tokul 1, I've been very impressed. Everything has held up well. I haven't had any component failures, and it's an incredibly comfortable ride. And that's rides in high heat and southern humidity, and our leaf-covered trails on the fall where you can barely see the trail, even those few points out of the year where our temperatures don't get above the teens and the chill index is well into the single digits. I've also found the Tokul 1 to be my go-to bike when there are days that I don't want to ride the trail, I want to ride what's not the trail. And the Tokul 1 does afford me that ability. I have no problem hopping on it, pointing a direction, and just going, and seeing where it all ends up. All that adds up to make the Tokul 1 not only an excellent beginner mountain bike, but also a very good intermediate adventure bike. There's also an accommodating and forgiving element to this bike. It's very comfortable when you're riding it and you forget that there's a berm and end up on your side, or when you're trying to turn on a bike-mounted camera and you run it into a tree. Turns out to be pretty durable. But does all this experience with the Tokul 1 make it better than the Trek Marlin 5 after 6 months? Surprisingly, the answer is no. And yes, that no isn't because the Trek Marlin 5 is better, because I still think the Tokul 1 is a better bike. The problem is, Raleigh has discontinued the Tokul 1 for the 2018 year model. That means if you want to buy one, you're going to have to start looking at places like Amazon and score what's left on the market. That's the no. But the yes is that if you can find a Raleigh Tokul 1, I still think it's a better bike, component per component and for the dollar, than either the Trek Marlin 4 or the Trek Marlin 5, even the 2018 year model Treks. I'll even go one step further and say that for what you pay and what you get, it's a better bike than the current Trek Marlin 6. Now that's not to disparage Trek bikes, because as you know, I'm a fan of Trek. So for me to like the Tokul over a Trek means that I think it's a really good bike. One other note that I should add, and that is that the Trek Marlin series are predominantly 29er bikes. The Tokuls are 27.5s, so if you like 29ers, that may tilt things towards the Trek Marlin. Whichever bike you choose, just have fun on it. Doesn't matter if it's a Trek, a Raleigh, or some other brand. As long as it works, it's good. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.
Look how it grew. It's almost like a piece of wood. It has the grain.
Yeah.
That is bizarre.
We'll take that back and show it to David.
Would that be a good heel for me to be in front of you?